Well, hello YouTube, Louie here, and I want to talk a little bit about silver and Bitcoin. Do some shopping for some pretty good deals that are out there if you are still dollar cost averaging in. Before we get started, I want to take a look at the chart of silver going back to 2019. And before you say that silver has been a poor investment, I think we have to reflect on when you may have gotten into this market. If you got into the market when we were having the FOMO rally up to 30, although it was not even 30 for barely a day, I would say 27.50, 28 was more of the top. Yes, you've experienced a pretty dramatic drop in price back down to 22.50 as of today. But if you had been stacking and averaging in for the prior couple of years, you would be saying to yourself, gee, I made a fair amount of money. I mean, here we are in the 15s, 16s, 14s, 18s, 16s. And again, just like I ignored the spike up to 30, I'm going to ignore the spike down to 12. You know, most people probably were not buying. It was a very frightening period of time when everything was falling out of the bottom of the market. As you recall, oil went negative at that point in time, and it kind of felt like the end of the world. So I doubt very many people did a lot of buying down here at 12. And of course, premiums were higher as well. But if you average this out, if you smooth out these lines from 14, 15, 16, 17, take the tops off, and 26 to 22, well, a move from 16 to 22 is $6. That is about a 30% return in spot price over 3 years. Okay, so that is nothing to sneeze at. That is hardly an inferior investment if you want to consider that. Again, if you were paying high premiums and were buying in at the, in the high 20s, the last year has been awful. But I want to dissuade you from the belief that silver is failing as an investment. I believe that silver is returning quite handsomely over a number of years, and I think your perspective should be a couple, 3 years. Now, let's move over to other charts where we can compare what silver has done to other commodities. As you know, silver is a commodity mostly, also a monetary metal, but hasn't been a monetary metal for years. Of course, unless you're buying your groceries with it in Venezuela or Turkey right now, where an ounce of silver would be quite the helpful thing to have. But let's go on over to E-Trade and look at some charts. Okay, if you'll permit me to use the SLV as the measurement here, don't get stuck on the prices. It doesn't trade at the same price as spot, but just looking at the chart, you will see the same chart where we had a lot of time right around 15, and now we're sitting up at 22. Now, yes, this has been a retracement from the 28.50 level back down to about 22, and again, that certainly is not bullish in and of itself, but there is nothing wrong with the performance of silver over 2-3 years. It's just digesting these moves that it's made to higher levels, and as we compare it to other commodities, we can see where it sits. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to throw in some other commodities into the chart, like copper. Now, does anyone believe that copper has been a bad investment over the last 3 years? Well, if we go back to 2019, silver and copper, this chart equates those to zero. You can see that copper had a similar fall, but copper did not have the FOMO spike that we had. And right around the 60% appreciation level, the two met again. That is April of 2021. Since then, copper has been outperforming silver, But do you think that in this case you would rather own copper, or would you rather own silver that is 20% below the price of copper in this particular chart? Silver is the undervalued asset. And unless you think copper's been a poor investment, but very few people do, all right. So, yes, silver 20% below copper, that makes silver the buy. Let's take a look at something else. Let's get out of copper and let's look at gold, right? Gold seems to be the primary asset for many people these days. And here we are with silver versus gold. Well, look at that. If you go back 3 years, again, silver had a dramatic sell-off, and gold does not depreciate that rapidly. And then silver exceeded gold's price, dropped back to parity, tried to exceed it again, and now we are basically at pretty close to parity from 3 years ago. Okay, does that tell me that gold is the superior investment to silver? No, if anything, the GSR gold silver ratio is screaming buy silver right now. Trade gold for silver. But there they are in pretty much parity if you go back 3 years. Now, if you only take a 1 year perspective, the last 1 year for silver has been a terrible slide down, right? And you can see silver, what's that, about 15% or 12% below the price of gold. Again, telling you that that GSR up at 80 still says silver is the buy. I'm going to get over and look at deals here in a minute for the cheapest bullion, and there were some very good deals recently. If you're still averaging in, if you're still building that long-term tangible stack, that stack you can hold in your hands, that stack that can't be deflated away from you, that asset that will always have value and purpose and beauty, that is your silver stack. But let's go ahead and take one more comparison. I just want to take a look at Bitcoin really quickly. And I am not a Bitcoin bull, but I'm going to put in the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin tracker. Okay, lot of pain in Bitcoin land here right now, and just something I want to point out. So here we are, silver. Let's see, what is the parity? So look at that. Going back 3 years? No, going back 1 year, even despite silver's drop, silver is outperforming Bitcoin at this juncture. And when we had the spike in Bitcoin, what was it, $60,000, $70,000? Well, that was right around the same time that they initiated ETF trading, derivatives trading for Bitcoin. And I said to myself, and I think I posted on a couple of your channels, I wonder if Bitcoin is going to be manipulated the way that silver is. Silver and Bitcoin have a lot in common. Now, of course, silver is tangible. You can hold it. Nobody can take it from you. Bitcoin is ethereal. It is digital. It is an agreed upon asset, but does not take a physical form. But back around the time the ETFs started trading on Wall Street, I said to myself, well, what would be as hated as much as gold and silver by our government? Well, it would be Bitcoin. It would be an alternate store of value that shows the disinterest in the dollar and the interest in anything other than the dollar. And about that time we had a big run up, and I said, this is ripe for a smackdown. What else does Bitcoin have in common, actually, with silver and diamonds? And this is a friend of mine, Esoteric, was talking about diamonds and how they are controlled by one or two or a very low number of very wealthy families or individuals. Well, if you look into Bitcoin, you will find that Bitcoin is also controlled in mass by some, what do they call them? The whales. A few people own the vast majority of Bitcoin, making it able to be manipulated quite readily. You add to that the ETFs and the ability for Wall Street to short and then go long and short again. And I had predicted some time ago that Bitcoin might suffer the same fate as silver in that it has powerful enemies, and it is also controlled by a very small number of people that have massive stakes in it, kind of like diamonds. Worst investment in the world, right? Because the perceived value has to do with the supply that's put on the market. Bitcoin's no different than that. And I'm not saying Bitcoin won't go back up to its all-time highs and it may go to 100,000 or 200,000, but there is really nothing different from Bitcoin to silver to the ETF manipulation and the complicity of our government in watching these smackdowns and frankly, taking joy in watching these alternative assets get crushed. I think Bitcoin's got further to fall here. I think it's going to the 20s. As you can see, silver is already outperforming it over this 1 year period. To be fair, let's go out 3 years and you'll see that Bitcoin has just, has pummeled silver over the last 3 years. So I can't take that away. If you're sitting on substantial profits, good for you. But I think that we're headed into a period where Bitcoin is going to have the jackboot of government and Wall Street on its neck. So watch out and do not over allocate to this asset, is my advice. And again, it could go to zero, right? That could happen. Silver can't go to zero. Okay, so is there anything else we want to look at here? No, I think I will just pop on over to eBay at this point, and let's take a look at the best deals on eBay. Okay, I put this on my channel. I did a post to my community board yesterday, I think it was, and this is a heavy hitter, purchase. And this is something that is obviously not dollar cost averaging, and I don't actually even recommend 100-ounce bars, but look at the price of these 100-ounce bars. Okay, there are 5 of them. That's 500 ounces, reputable seller, DBS Coins. When you purchase on eBay, if you use the credit card I recommend, you get a 3.3% cash back to your statement. Now you have to spend $1,000 in the new year before that kicks in. But if you were to pick these up using that eBay credit card, that would be about 75 cents off. You'd be at about let's see, this is 24.55. You'd be at about 23.75 an ounce. Okay, just about $1.25 an ounce over spot for 500 ounces of recognizable and desirable silver. Does that tell you that there's a shortage in the market? There's no shortage of silver, guys. This is an agreed upon asset as well, and the industrial demand is the driver of the bus. Right now, industrial demand is obviously going to be a little bit weak. The economy is not firing on all cylinders, and there are still shutdowns. But when would you rather be buying? Would you rather be buying when the demand is weak? Or would you rather be buying when demand is strong? We saw how that turned out on the last chart. If you were buying on the way up, you were paying higher spot prices, you were paying higher premiums, you were in FOMO land. Now would be the time to accumulate, not later. And don't blow your whole nest egg on one purchase. But there's nothing wrong with jumping into silver exactly at this spot. All right, and we could look at 10-ounce bars and whatnot. I think we'd be up over 25 an ounce, 25.50. But use that credit card, and that'll bring those prices down right away. Okay, hopefully you're still not buying Silver Eagles. Let's go ahead and take a look at what a tube of Silver Eagles is selling for right now. Let's just see how ridiculous this price is. Let me go to the lowest price. Oh, let's go to the solds. This is what I do sometimes when I'm shopping. I find out what's been selling by clicking the sold button. All right, and let's do the most recent sales. That'll also often tell you what is being purchased right now. Okay, the most recent purchases are $650 a roll, $675. Here's $640. Let's call $640. So that is $32 an ounce. It's just a horrible, horrible investment at $32 an ounce. Just don't do it. Wait for those prices to come down. If you're into sovereign coins, you can look at the Philharmonics. I think even the Maples are overpriced personally, but a lot of people are turning to Maples. Matter of fact, I think Maples are about to exceed the sales of Silver Eagles, if you look back at some of the data. So anyway, that is that. The last place I want to look is Monument Metals. I didn't tweet this out or anything, but if you noticed, the Libertads came out for 2021. I'm at Monument Metals, by the way. The BU and the proof. I did take a stab at the proofs. I got the half-ounce proofs when APMEX was selling them for about 13 something and change. They have since raised their price. But I didn't go in heavily. The mintage is back to normal. Only 500 of the half-ounce proofs are being made. So it's a numismatic investment and probably a flip in the future for me. But that's the only one I bought. But let me know if any of the rest of you purchased any of these gold Libertads. Like I said, I only bought two, probably for resale of the half-ounce proofs. The 1 ounce proofs are they're nice, but when you go to sell them, you have to really white knuckle, the shipping and everything. It's a large amount of money if you take a loss on it. But Monument has had some of the better deals recently. I'm looking for silver, okay, and I'm actually thinking about trading out some gold for silver again. So let's just go ahead and look at silver. I still recommend the 10-ounce bars over anything else. So what do we have in the 10-ounce bar category? 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce. Here we go. The kilos have been cheapest, if you have noticed. Here we go, $255 for a nadir bar. High quality silver, 4.9 silver in the nadir bars with an assay card. Secondary market, $256 if you're looking for variety. $257 on the Germania bars. Some of the cheapest deals on Germania cast bars I have seen. $258 on the IGR. Silvertown's $259. Looks like we're getting more expensive here. A bit of a collector, 2 collector bars. I like the Aztec bar at $265. I like and have quite a few of the Britannia bars at $274. I think those sell on eBay over $300 all day long. And these are out of stock. But not too bad on the bars. You can get down to $25.50 an ounce. That's $269 over. If we move over to the kilos, and again, the kilos are at a lower price because it's not really American silver for the most part. It's foreign silver, and because I believe there is a glut of silver on the market right now that needs to be sold, the kilos are getting moved out. And let's find, where'd they go? 100 ounce, 1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, kilo, there they are. I think you'll find the best deal in the kilos, but it's a good chunk of silver, a little harder to trade. You might get a little less for it at the LCS. So $225 over spot. Okay, as we keep talking about high premiums, I just don't think you can ignore the 10 ounce or the kilo bars. The Germania kilo bar, $235 over spot. Excellent, excellent purchase. When I was caught up in the FOMO on the rise to 30, I paid $1,000 for one of these bars. One of my worst moves 2 years ago, or was it a year and a half ago? Yeah, I paid $1,000 for one of these. Now look at that, $796. Okay, and they're beautiful bars. The IGR, I'm not into the IGRs. Here's secondary market kilos, which would always be interesting to see what they would give you. Let's take a look at that. What would you get? Okay, you might get a First Majestic, you might get a Suisse. I would think you probably would get a foreign bar more than you would an American bar, but the First Majestic kilo would be pretty cool if you got it. The last kilo I want to look at is this Belcambi. Belcambi is a premium silver maker, again, not American, but clearly, this is overstock of some kind. Typically, you would not find a Belcambi bar at 250 over spot, 275 over spot. I don't know if I like this one or not. I'd have to really see the actual bar. But again, it's not American silver, so that would not be my first choice. I think the Germania bars got way more eye appeal than that. All right, then let's go out today with a look at the gold to silver ratio, and here we are again. Let me go back in a little bit to maybe the last 3 months. Okay, here we are, and a while ago we were pushing up to 81. The other day we were nearly at 81. Definitely all the cannons were out at silver, focused on silver recently to bring it down almost $1. But now we're back at an 80 GSR. Has that typically been a good time to buy silver or a bad time to buy silver? You only have to look at the chart over gold. Okay, good time to buy silver. Good time to buy silver. Good time to buy silver. Bad time to buy silver. Bad time to buy silver. Bad time to buy silver. Better time to buy silver. Great time to buy silver. Great, great, great. And here we are right now again. Great time to buy silver compared to gold, or even trade out some gold for silver if you can achieve a $2 premium, a $1.25 premium. I mean, if I had hundreds of ounces of gold, I would, I'd trade some out, and I'd buy that $1.25 over spot 100-ounce bar package. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for the FOMO to come back. When will it come back? When industry picks up again. When investor sentiment turns again. I don't think they have copper on here, but the other thing that is that's happening is that copper being on a tear increases the production of copper. Silver is a byproduct of copper, and I imagine that they're producing more silver as a byproduct as a result of copper and lead and other base metals being overproduced to take advantage of the high spot prices in those markets. I think that puts a little glut of silver on the market. Okay, I have seen no indication that there's a shortage of silver. I have no reason to believe that anybody's going to run out of silver anytime soon. But you want to be buying during the lulls. You don't want to be buying during the FOMO. You want to be buying when the GSR is good and high instead of gold. If you don't have any gold, by all means, buy some gold. The premiums have been dropping. But look at this right here. Okay, beautiful Perth Mint, authenticated in assay, 1868. You're paying a $68 premium. What is that? 3.5%. When you trade that at the LCS, he might give you a couple bucks over spot for it, as opposed to a Gold Eagle. All right, let's take a look at a Gold Eagle. So that was 1868. What are you going to pay for a Gold Eagle? Oh, 1888. Look at that. The gold Eagles have come down substantially. Oh, but you have to buy 100. So 1908 for the Gold Eagle. That's an extra $50, $40, and forget the graded coins. Okay, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't have much else to say, but I hope you guys are having a great week. I know it's been a frustrating week watching the SmackDown, but people that say that silver is controlled by the dollar are missing something. Okay, they're missing something. They're missing not the midterm or the short-term picture. They're missing the long-term picture. Okay, UUP is the dollar, basically. Let me get rid of the comparative to Bitcoin. All right, so here is the dollar. It's been in, about 5 years. Here is the dollar, and recently it's been on an uptrend as currencies around the world depreciate. Our dollar is depreciating, but other world currencies, primarily the euro and the pound and the yen and so forth, they're depreciating faster. That the dollar is the best compared to a basket of foreign currencies that are also failing due to inflation. All right, inflation is taking the value of your dollar. If you believe that the only thing that matters is the strength of the dollar, then you'd be ignoring the long-term trend for inflation, that at some point the physical asset decouples from the dollar because the dollar is losing so much value so fast. If that weren't true, a silver quarter still would not buy you would not buy you a gallon of gas, right? I mean, I don't know what the max is on the UUP. Let's see. How far out does it go? It goes to 2008. Okay, so if we go back to 2008, pick any asset, a McDonald's hamburger, a gallon of gas. Of course, I'm not sure. There was a spike in there at some point, then it came back down. A car, real estate. Okay, is the dollar stronger today than it was in 2008? Yes. Do assets across the board cost more? Yes. So, I mean, there is the counter to that argument if you expand your time frame beyond a month or 6 months or a year. You got to give it time. You just got to give it time. And, how has silver done? I don't know. Let's drop in SLV compared to the dollar. And I know I'm droning on at this point, but, the time perspective matters. Being early is the same as being wrong, and being late is certainly being wrong. Let's drop in SLV. Okay, so here we have SLV. You saw the dollar getting stronger over that period of time. Here they start off at parity in 2008. What's doing better, the dollar or silver? Okay, silver is 50% above the increase in value of the dollar. And this may not be a fair comparison. I know, the UUP is a currency, and probably not fair to compare a currency to a physical asset. But it's not just about the dollar, guys. It's about so many things. It's about inflation. It's about negative real interest rates. It's about loss of confidence in the government. It's about increasing, demand for metals over time in industry. And most of all, it's about me and you securing our wealth and securing an insurance policy so that we have wealth when the dollar goes to 10 cents. Because that's what's happening here at 7%, a year or whatnot. It won't take long. Go out 10 years and you tell me if an ounce of silver is going to be $22.50, okay? If you believe that, then I don't know what else you believe, but it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, guys, I will leave you now, and I hope you'll give this video a like and subscribe, and have a wonderful weekend. Keep your mask on. Omicron may only be a cold, but it's a cold you don't want to get. You won't be able to work while you have it. All right, Louie out. Take care.